hopefully. I'll check the channel now. See, there's Pacific Tier 1. There is the stream. So the audio is working, the stream's up, the chat's up, we're all good to go. Fantastic. Hello everyone and welcome to round 11 of the PlayStation Pacific Tier 1 Championship here on Race Spec Esports. I'm Lane Everingham, your commentator for this event. And this time we are racing at the Jeddah Corniche circuit for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. The 6.17 kilometer, 27 turn circuit is the most recent addition to the Formula One schedule and has gained a reputation of being one of the most demanding on the calendar. The circuit is almost purely consistent of high and medium speed bends. Median average speeds are up and over 250 kilometers per hour. With the wall so close to the racetrack, any mistake for the drivers tonight will more than likely result in an accident. Overtaking is limited to the 3 DRS zones that lead into turns 1, the slightly banked sweeper of 13, and the final corner 27. The DRS zone before turn 13 is actually misplaced. It's supposed to be between turn 19 and turn 22. But anyway. With it being reasonably difficult to overtake, qualifying becomes all that more important. Which is fantastic, because qualifying here tends to be very fast and very intense. But before we focus fully on qualifying, there is a bit of news to go through first from last week's race in Bahrain. There were no incident reports whatsoever, so the results stand. In the Drivers' Championship, GeForce Crichton is leading on 205 points, followed by Spilly on 181. The gap is only 24. Spilly actually closed the gap to Crichton last week in Bahrain after he won that race. Crichton ended up finishing in third. Wogboy is third in the championship on 154 points. He's currently 27 behind Spilly and 51 behind Crichton. So it's more or less looking like a two-horse race for the driver's title between Crichton and Spilly. The rest of the order looks like Ford in P4 on 145 points, followed by Fiery Hour on 144. So P3, 4 and 5 are actually pretty close to one another currently. Only 10 points separate those three. So the fight for third is definitely on. Plebs is P6 on 121, followed by Karma, Chip, Scotty and GeForce Zach rounds out the top 10. In the Constructors, Mercedes-Benz are leading on 349 points, followed by McLaren on 233, so 116 points separating the top two in the Constructors. It's looking like Mercedes will win the Constructors' Championship. Probably not at the end of this race here in Saudi Arabia, but maybe next week in Australia. But the battle for second is definitely on, with Aston Martin third on 224 points, just 9 behind McLaren, and then Ferrari P4 on 190, Williams P5 on 181, and completing the table we have Alfa Romeo, Red Bull, Alpine, Haas and AlphaTauri on the bottom of the table. And that's pretty much it in terms of news. Not much to go through, which means we can focus on qualifying. Hello Spicy, hello KD, hello Zach. Good to see you all here. This is going to be a very entertaining qualifying session, I reckon. We've seen over the course of this season how competitive it is in Pacific Tier 1. And this track demands a lot out of a racing driver. There's a lot of sections where you can quite easily make a mistake. And the circuit's got 22 corners. There's a lot to get wrong over this 6-kilometer lap. But I have to say, from a driver's point of view, this is one of the most rewarding circuits I've driven on. When you get a lap right around here, as Swaggy hasn't done that, he's brushed the wall at turn 13. When you get the lap absolutely spot on, there's no greater feeling, I reckon, other than maybe doing the perfect lap at Monaco. Maybe that would be a bit more rewarding. But here, it's so fast, so intense, that when you get it right, you are genuinely feeling happy. As a Ferrari Pro, you're in a Haas. That's a bit different. Don't often see you in anything else other than Ferrari. Well, it's close enough to a Ferrari, I guess. Ferrari engine car that's actually doing pretty well in 2022 so far. See here, Swaggy. He might be having a second crack here. Nope. He's going back into the pits. Fair enough. Player's making his way around turn 23. Somehow not invalidating there. He went well off course, but the game being a bit forgiving to Plebs. Recognizing that was more of a mistake than him taking advantage of track limits. Heading down the main straightaway now with DRS wide open. Plebs will cross the line to set a 1 minute 27.9, goes 6th fastest. Now I hear the drivers to look out for are going to probably be Karma and Crichton. I've heard all these stories about Karma here at Jeddah. I don't want to curse him. I want him to perform as well as he possibly can. But I hear he's pretty quick around here, so I'm looking forward to seeing what some of these drivers are capable of. Currently it's 40 at the top of the table with a 1 minute 26.814, beating Spilly, who's set a 1 minute 27.197. And Crichton's only 2 thousandths behind, so it's pretty close between Spilly and Crichton at the moment, but we've still got heaps of time in qualifying. Also to note, here's that Spack, here's that Kush, our wet weather maestro in the Pacific tier. Oh, he almost puts it into the wall there at the exit of the final corner. Tell you what, is that? Give us a guided tour of this 6 kilometer 27 turn racetrack. Heading into turn 1, bringing it down to 3rd gear, around turn 2, keeping it in 3rd. It's a relatively nice exit. Through turn 3, he brushes the wall there. He might have got damage from that, we'll wait and see. Through turn 4 into 5, now into the left-hander of 6 and 7, now into 8 and 9. See, they're using the full width of the racetrack. Into 10 where Schumacher binned it. Through 11 and 12. He'll open DRS in a DRS zone that shouldn't exist. Into the bank sweeper of turn 13. It's on the power nicely. Runs the car out nice and wide. Around turn 14 now. Now with the left-hander of 15. Into the chicane of 16 and 17. The back end stepping out. Oh! And he puts the car into the wall as he goes through turn 18. Now 19. Into turn 20. Now into the right-hander of 21. And now the chicane of 22 and 23. You can see how much understeer the AlphaTauri's got. I reckon he does have damage. Coming out to 24. Through 25. And then 26, which is essentially a continuation of 25. And now the final corner, turn 27. He's backed off quite a bit. Fairly heavy brush with the wall there at the exit of turn 17. And although it looks okay, he might actually have damage on that car. So back he goes into pit lane. Leo, appears that you're not on a proper flying lap at the moment. Keep an eye on you though. Chip here is about to complete a flying lap, heading down the main straightaway up towards the finish line. He jumps up to P5 with a 1 minute 27.723. Ferrari Pro, you're on an in-lap from the looks of things. Swaggy, looks like he might be on an in-lap. Bags is on a flyer, heading around turn 5 into 6 and 7. You have to be very brave, very committed through this opening sector. There's so much time to be gained if you brave through here. Up towards the DRS zone, heading down towards the sweeper of turn 13, as Karma just does not get out of the way of Bags. That's not very alert driving there from Karma, not very alert at all. Costing Bags just a little bit of time heading into turn 13, through 16 and 17. Making his way towards the second sector split. Absolutely flat out through this section, all the way up to turn 22. Hitting a peak speed of 305 kilometers an hour. Brings it down to 6th gear, using the full width of the racetrack. Coming out to turn 24, around 25. It's got DRS wide open as he heads towards the final corner, turn 27. Brings it down to 3rd gear. Gets on the power as early as he can. Too early, it seems. The car understeers into the wall at the exit of the final corner. Seems that Spilly has backed out of this flying lap. Crichton getting ready. Ford going slowly. Trying to let cars out of the way, it seems. As he comes around the final corner to begin what I believe to be his second flying lap. Someone's just improved. I think that was Leo in the Alpine, setting a 1 minute 27.234. 40 sets off on his flying lap. Heading down towards turn 1, bringing it down to 4th gear, then down to 3rd as he invalidates at turn 1, cutting far too much. Crichton sets off on his flying lap, heading down towards turn 1. We've got yellow flags about. That is Crichton's teammate, Fariauer, I think, getting out. No, it was a Alpine getting out of the way. It was an Alpine getting out of the way. My bad. Through turn 4, into turn 5. Now into the double left of 6 and 7, keeping it absolutely pinned. Through 8, into 9, using the full width of the racetrack there. Through turn 10, into 11, then 12. He'll open DRS and head down towards the sweeper of turn 13. He's up by 2.5 tenths of a second. Around turn 13, getting on the power as early as he dares, running as wide as he dares as well on the exit of the sweeper. Up towards the chicane of 16 and 17, brings it down to 5th gear, cuts as much as he can, or runs up right towards the wall there on the exit. Really fast stuff here from Crichton. What does the clock say? He was up by 2.5 tenths. He's now up by 3.5 tenths. He's challenging for pole position here. Through 22, into 23, then into turn 24. He's only got one major corner to worry about, the final corner, turn 27, and do not take this final corner for granted. Max Verstappen did in 2021, and it cost him dearly. Around the final corner we go in 3rd gear, gets on the power nicely, uses the full width of the racetrack, or whatever width is there on the exit of turn 27. Up towards the line, Crichton sets a 1 minute 26.765 and takes pole position away from G-Force Ford. But Isaac Kush here making his way through the final sector. His teammate Tinselman has just jumped up to P11. Where will Isaac end up at the end of this flying lap on his return to the Pacific Series? Nice exit there at the final corner, heading down towards the control line. Moves it up into top gear, crosses the line. It's a 27 flat. Well, it's more so a 27.1 if I round it up properly. But he goes 4th fastest, just behind Fiery Hour, who's done a 27 flat. I think Plebs has just jumped up to P7 as well with a 27.495. So we got both McLarens in the top 10, both Red Bulls in the top 10, both Mercedes in the top 10 as well. G4 Swaggy on an outlap, racing up to... He's about to complete a flying lap. He's set to improve. Will he gain too many positions? He crosses the line. He jumps up to 15th, only improving by a tenth to set a 1 minute 28.022. Not a bad effort. He's only 1.3 seconds off pole. And considering this is a 27-turn racetrack that is just over 6 kilometers long, yeah, it's a pretty solid effort. I wouldn't get anywhere near those sort of times. I know that. I know that for sure. You're on an in-lap. Spilly's on an out-lap. I think these two are on in-laps. Yeah, Crichton's on an in-lap too. So, guess we'll keep an eye on Spilly. He's making his way through the first sector. Oh, it's a long out-lap, long in-lap here at Jeddah. It's what you naturally get with a very long racetrack. Got a Ferrari getting out of the way. That must be Grimmy, because Wogboy is in the pit lane. In the meantime, let's see what chat is up to. Hello, chat. Time difference between P9 and P13. Yeah, it's not much. It's less than a tenth. Between those fellas. It's just amazing, isn't it, how close it can be over such a long racetrack. It's fantastic to see. And hello, Marco. It's good to see you're in the chat too, buddy. Oh. Got just over 3 minutes left in qualifying, so we're at the business end. The most important part of qualifying with drivers set their final flying laps. Svilly comes around the final corner and heads down the main straightaway. We'll open DRS, shifted into top gear and set off on his, what could be his final flying lap. Heading down towards turn 1, entering at 319 kilometers an hour, brings it down to about 120 as he goes through turn 1, exiting turn 2, through turn 3, up towards turn 4. He'll bring it down to fourth gear, cut as much as he can there for around 5. Into the double left of 6 and 7, keeping it in 6th gear. Into 8, now 9 as Plebs has left the session, and oh dear, he's done the fastest lap so far. 37.6 seconds, apparently. That's what Plebs has done. Spelly, he did improve. I didn't actually catch how much he improved by, though. I think it was just over a 10 as he brushes the wall at the exit of turn 13. He's pushing the very limits of the racetrack. He's pushing very hard here. Through 16, then 17. Oh, right up towards the wall on the exit there of 17. Using what... Oh, and he's backed off. He's backed off. So he's not happy with this lap, so he'll give it another go. He'll cool the tyres down, mentally reset himself and set off again. There goes a Ferrari. I think that's Grimmy. On a flying lap as G4 Swaggy has retired from the session. Grimmy here is up by just over a 10.5 in the middle sector. With that sort of improvement, he could jump up to P8. Jump up 4 or so places with just a 10.5, but he's lost time at the exit of 27 as he hits the wall. Seen a few drivers do that tonight during qualifying. He crosses the line and jumps up to P9, so he lost time in that final sector thanks to that small mistake. Could have been P8, but he's missed out on that. Not by much though, by less than a tenth, as Karma's getting ready to set his final flying lap. Leo, he's getting ready to set his final flying lap as well. Oh, Spilly, dearie me. That was some driving right there to not hit any barriers. My goodness. As Ferrari Pro... What? Does a 27.3, but it's come up with a purple lap. Okay. Fiery Hour. Coming through the first sector on what is his final flying lap. Coming around turn 8 into 9. Then into the left-hander of 10. Up towards the first sector split. What does the clock say? He's up by a tenth of a second. 40. Gets a shocking run out to turn 2. Not a great way to start off your final flying lap. He's only half a tenth off pole position. Oh, but he's got a shocking run through this S section. He's going to lose time to his personal best, I'm sure, as Crichton goes head-on into the barrier. So he's invalidated his lap and he's vented his frustration. 40 here is apparently purple to the first sector. I'm not too sure about that. It looked like a scruffy first sector. Fiery Hour is up by a 10.5. He needs to find 2.5 tenths to challenge for pole position. Can he do it here in the final sector? Heading towards the final corner. There is a McLaren in front, but he's well enough in front that he shouldn't impede Fiery Hour. Exiting the final corner, he'll open DRS, foot to the floor, up towards the line. Does Fiery Hour jump up to pole? No is the answer. He misses out by less than a tenth of a second. But 40, he is actually up by a 10.5 in the middle sector. This is looking like a pole position lap here from 40. He exits the final corner. He'll open DRS. He'll keep his foot to the floor. Up towards the line, 40. He does take to pole position with a 1 minute 26.714, beating Crichton by half a tenth of a second. Isaac crosses the line, stays fourth fastest, doesn't improve. So the best time he could do was a 27 flat. Chip, and he's out of fuel, so Chip's session is done. What about Rude? And he's going back into the pit lane. So it is G-Force Ford on pole position. I didn't think he could do it. That first sector looked off, but that might have just been the camera angles provided. It looked like he missed an apex or two. But no, I must have been wrong. A very nice lap from 40 to take pole position here at Saudi Arabia. Let's see, 1 second separates P1 all the way down to what, about P12 or so, P13. Maybe P14, we'll include P14 because why not? It's close enough to a second. Really, really close, it's fantastic to see. Hello ACW as well, nice to see you're here. as that will be the end of qualifying. Nice qualifying session at that, as you'd kind of expect from a circuit like this. It's G-Force Ford on pole position by 51 thousandths of a second to G-Force Crichton. Fiery Hour will line up P3, just a tenth off pole position. Is that Cush on his return? Starts P4, followed by Spilly, Leo, Ferrari Pro, Karma, Chip, and Plez completes the top 10. Hiller's P11, then Grimmy, Rude, Tinselman racing up to Wogboy, Bagsadell, and Swaggy will start from the back in 18th. Only a second and a half separating the entire field. Oh, that's really, really good to see how competitive it truly is here in Pacific Tier 1. It is incredibly close. Hopefully, this translates into a pretty interesting race here in Jeddah. We might see some mind games between the drivers because DRS, as it usually is, quite powerful. And we saw it in real life in both the 2021 and 2022 Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, where drivers are playing mind games with one another, trying to not give the guy behind DRS, try and give themselves DRS. We're probably going to see that tonight in Pacific Tier 1. I don't doubt it for a second. Clear skies as well, as you'd expect. Though I think I did hear that a league did have a wet weather race here at Jeddah. So I don't think it's impossible, unlike a track like Bahrain. But yeah, I could imagine this track in the wet though. Ooh, that'll be so much fun. Yeah, I don't... PSG, that's right. I remember now. Yeah, PSG at Rome. Flavs has left the session again. Well, isn't this a great omen for the start of this race? Hopefully nothing disastrous comes from this. Run through the order again. See who's... Oh, well, alright. Maybe not, because just about everybody is starting on the same tyre. So from pole position all the way down to 16th place, they're all starting on the soft tyre. There's no mucking around from these fellas. Only Bags Liddell and G-Force Swaggy are starting on a alternate tyre. They're both starting on the medium compound. Yikes. Oh my goodness. Are we serious right now? It seems that we're doing a lobby reset. Alright. Give me a moment, folks. It seems... Hang on, I'll just double check that. Yeah, I think we're going to have to quit the main menu. Flav says ordered a lobby restart, so we've got to go again. Oh, well, it gives me time to speak with all the handsome people in the chat. Hello, chat. Well, he still ordered the lobby reset, so... Oh, it doesn't matter. It's his call. It's his call. And he's made that call, so... Here we are. I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, Gavin, if the drivers are like bugger it and all just crash into one another. I mean, why not? Again, Marco, it's his call to make, so... He's the coordinator, he's the one in charge, so he makes the call. So... How's my week been? Nice question, ACW. It's been alright. I received a message. There we are. My week's been okay. Haven't been doing too much. Mostly because there hasn't been much to do. Been keeping an eye on Formula 1. Thank goodness I didn't watch Saudi Arabia live. Because waking up at 4 AM is not really a great... it's not really a great thing for me. I'm not a morning person. I hate waking up early. Not fun. And guess what, chat? I'm going to have to restart the stream. Because there's this glitch that is still a thing where you're unable to join another session. So I'm going to have to close the application, which in turn closes the stream. So I probably won't start it again right away. I'll probably start it when we hit the loading screen, just to cut down the time of me talking and thinking up of random stuff to talk about in the meantime. So I'll be back in about 5 minutes. So yeah, sorry, all I can do.